This is Lindsay Williams, and you're listening to the Drunkard United show. Bless your little cotton socks.
She sounds like she's at an ATM right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you hear that in the background?
Yeah, I could hear that. It sounded like she was getting cash. That's for damn sure. Mel's in a very happy mood.
Yes, she is, I bet.
She thoroughly enjoyed herself.
You know what made
weekend.
the goals better, honestly?
What's that?
It's because he's fucking sexy.
That's
the other thing.
It'd be
he's
nice
a good-looking
man.
man.
Score a goal. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, busy on the phone with JG Wentworth, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing, brother?
If anybody at JG Wentworth is listening and you'd like to sponsor the show, please reach out at studiohpodcast at gmail.com, please.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm doing well. We have an induction date.
Yeah?
It's exciting.
Okay.
The 13th of September.
All right. So
Yeah. To if she hasn't gone naturally by then.
hire
And I
him,
was
get
on the
ready.
phone with me wife, and she's in a great deal of pain. The old hips are starting to spread and all that stuff.
Oh, not fun.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Not fun.
Not great.
I know you all have already had the previous discussions of there ain't going to be another one.
Yep.
I have a feeling at some point in time during the delivery, there will be anger and vitriol towards you, and there will just be a, this is never fucking happening again.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there will be.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Of course, every single Monday, you can check us out streaming live wherever you check out your streaming services of choice. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Sure. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
All right, good. Well, we, instead of having the email correspondence, we actually had just direct human interaction with the softest hands in the business this weekend.
Yes, we did. We old Larzapan came over.
Yeah, so when we do the the DU does EFL show, we'll be able to discuss leads in a little bit better
Well, the
detail.
EFL is about to do Everton
Yeah.
based on these first three performances.
Yeah, it's
fucking hell.
Yeah.
It is grim.
Poor Lars was like, I can't listen to the main show anymore, guys. No offense. It just hurts too much.
I think
I-
Lars was a bit drunk.
A little.
Can
a
I
little.
just stop doing the main show when we go down? Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, you finally brought the whiskey you were supposed to bring last week.
Yes, I did. I finally remembered it. This is the Bull Run Distilling Company, an American whiskey aged for 15 years, finished in 11 months rather in sherry casks. This is a single barrel selection for the syndicate, so it is available at both Drug City and Allview if there's any left. And as usual, they picked a motherfucking banger.
Yeah, they got some of the best palates in the business.
125.22 proof. That gives you an alcohol content of 62.61% by volume. It'll fuck you up, but it's
Yeah.
goddamn delicious.
And you said American whiskey, but it is a
bourbon mash bill.
So
Yeah.
just bourbon aged
In a used cask.
oak barrel.
Yeah.
But honestly, with the sherry barrel,
A lot of
it
people
doesn't
do
need to be new.
Yeah, a lot of people do that just to keep the cost down, especially when they're finishing in sherry or port or what have you.
When it's a 15-year-old whiskey. So
Because the other thing is nobody fucking drinks sherry and port anymore. So there's
Right.
a lot of places like Glenfiddich in the Scotch world and in bourbon that have to buy full fucking barrels just to dump the wine on the side of the distillery so they have a sherry barrel.
And those are the ones who have good connects with sherry
Correct.
and port business, right? Where they can actually, like you look at somebody like Redbreast who flat out works with Latassu, like, they can get those barrels.
I heard that sherry sales went down 25% when Winston Churchill died.
That does not surprise me. Look at you making the old dated reference.
Yeah, I black out essentially from like 1975 to 1992.
Right.
But anything prior to that or after that, I know what the fuck you're talking about.
So a lot of sherry barrels these days are actually going through. You go through brokers, right? And because, like you said, they're not selling enough sherry to actually produce enough barrels. In some instances, they're just taking like French or Hungarian oak, which is what they typically use over in Europe, just throwing cooking sherry in them and rolling them around for a year and dumping them just so that you get the, quote, sherry flavor. So when you're looking for sherry barrels, look for something that's long finished so that the sherry has an opportunity to really impact the whiskey, which is in the case of this. Or
long finish, we're talking like north of 6 months.
Yeah, normally an average finish is somewhere between 4 to 8. Is
right.
Like, you think of like the Whistle Pig 12-year-old, the marriage.
Exactly.
That is, I think, 6 weeks on all 3 of those finishes.
But this is in particular just a damn good fucking whiskey. It doesn't drink like it's 125 proof, which is dangerous, of course. But you get all that sherry flavor right up front. You get that bit of dark chocolate, a couple little nutty notes in there. It's just phenomenal stuff. And then the vanilla and caramel to finish that you would get traditionally from a bourbon, essentially from a bourbon mash bill. It's just fantastic, this bottle of whiskey. I love it. I'm really hoping all of you's got another bottle.
Because you're going to buy another?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to pour myself more of that, by the way, before the night's over.
This is going to be gone.
Yeah, that ain't making it home tonight, is it?
I don't think it is.
No. Well, what else should we do, Mr. Graham?
If this bottle doesn't make it, I might not be doing that either. Just make sure you always drink responsibly, ladies and gentlemen.
Good. Let's have a great show, good sir.
Let's do it. Come on.
Cheers it up. We got a bunch of people to cheers it up with. Just cheers it up, kids.
A little clinking all around here. Must be all that change in the pocket. You know what change is, Sam?
What's that?
Cash.
I heard. The top of the table is already on a knife's edge, and every result matters. A couple of clubs with high expectations got unimpressive results. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. Look, you at least got a fucking point. I don't have one of those yet. Stop fucking
You don't have a
groaning.
goal yet.
West Ham 3, Brighton 1. Sloppy would be an understatement for your guys' performance.
Well, it was really weird because it was either crisp and beautiful or some of the worst football we've played under Mikel Arteta. And there was nothing in between.
Yeah.
It was like misplaced passes, left, right, and center. Or there was a few times where we looked like fucking Pep Guardiola's Barcelona going down the field. It was so weird. It was such a strange performance. And for Bukayo Saka especially to give that ball away. And it just shows that this little experiment, this Thomas Partey at right back just doesn't work. Thomas Partey should have been there.
Right.
That is the position that he was assigned on the field. Mm-hmm. Thomas Partey was not there, and Saka, I guess, expected him to be. Now, what I will say is that in and of itself is terrible, that giveaway. I maintain that Andreas Pereira was lucky.
Okay.
Because if you look at his body shape, he looks like he's trying to go far post and loop Aaron Ramsdale. And if you look at Aaron Ramsdale's run, he sees that and starts to go that way. Andreas Pereira scuffs his shot, hits it almost off his heel instead of his instep, and that ball goes behind Ramsdale towards the near post.
But you know what
I don't think it was intentional.
But you know what they call that, right?
It's still a goal.
It's called a goal. It's called
still a goal.
And you were down 1-0.
But I still maintain he's lucky. Yeah, 60 seconds in, down 1-0 to Fulham. What I will say is also Fulham will be lucky to keep hold of Paulinho for the rest of the transfer window because he went on, obviously, to score later on from a corner after Fulham were down to 10 men, which is a bit of a running theme this weekend, which I'm sure we'll come on to with Liverpool and someone else. Okay, whatever other game somebody got set off in. Yeah. There's so many fucking cards now, I can't even keep track of it.
Constant.
But the Paulinho was phenomenal. He was all over the pitch. He made Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Martin Odegaard at times look like school children. Yeah. The way he was bossing that midfield.
Absolutely.
He was excellent. And it's hard to play against that. That injury right at the end of the preseason, start of the season. So this, I think, was his first performance.
It was his first performance.
Maybe he got subbed on last week, possibly. It doesn't matter. But the Saudis kind of forgot about him, it seemed, because of that injury. Well, I was listening to the Ramble earlier, and Marcus Speller said the same. He was like, fucking, why'd you score?
Yeah.
Now your name's written in headlines.
Yep, exactly.
He's, some agents on the phone somewhere trying to, fucking do that deal.
Well, because is it going to be the two center midfielders that are being sought after the most right now is Paulinho and Mateus Nunez at Wolves also.
Cunha.
Mateus Cunha.
Yeah.
So like those two are really kind of being.
I really hoped Cunha was Portuguese for cunt, but it's not.
Yeah.
I checked.
No, it's not.
I checked.
If only it would have been, right?
Let me get a taste of that Cunha.
You're just bad.
Oh, sorry. No, that guy speaks Spanish. My bad. Whoops a daisy.
No shit. Yeah, another sending off for a Fulham center back. Really,
there's a lot to unpack this week. I got so much shit flying around in my head right now.
Good news, Team Marine will be back next week to get sent off. Yeah, it's
a good hard-nosed American in there.
Well, and also let's face
fucking
it,
inglorious bastards.
The second yellow was absolutely. It was he had no choice. He had to hold them up, and that's a second yellow, and that's a red.
The second yellow is absolutely a second yellow.
What are you gonna do?
I don't necessarily agree with the first yellow though.
Right.
This is. All these silly little stupid cards that are happening, like Trent Alexander-Arnold, which again we'll come on to. He threw the ball at the Newcastle player who dodged it intentionally, and the ball rolls out into the field.
I did a little exercise this weekend, Sam. I counted to 8, over 8, probably about 24 times on throw-ins and went,
Are they enforcing it?
Tomiyasu got a yellow for that, and I'm looking
should have been Havertz that got that yellow because Havertz had the ball for about 12 seconds.
I'm sitting there and I'm looking at there's like every throw. I'm like, well, you gave Tomiyasu a 1 for
I know
delay,
but that
do we not hand him out in the first half then? Because a delay is a delay no matter what, right?
But the stupid thing, the referees are putting themselves in a position to make these decisions that affect fucking games,
right?
Because Trent Alexander-Arnold in that game now. Arguably, Anthony Gordon went down soft.
Right.
But that was a professional foul.
And that was
a textbook yellow card.
It's a textbook yellow card. 4
minutes prior, he got a stupid yellow for the Newcastle player dodging the ball.
Right.
And so how can the referee decide, oh, fuck, I'm almost to take him down. His hands weren't necessarily tied like they were with Van Dijk. But it's like you're putting yourselves in a position. And then fucking Mike Dean, did you see what he said? So Mike Dean came out and said something. He was asked in an interview about this decision with Anthony Taylor last year when he was the VAR. At the end of last season, he said, he'd already had a tough game, so I didn't want to make him walk over to the screen and potentially have to make a decision that changes the game.
Wow.
Well, I think he thinks that he's being endearing and giving you a peek behind the curtain. But all he did is now throw questions in the air about the authenticity of VAR.
Yeah, but also
and
remember
the veracity of VAR is bullshit.
The way that the FA has now also written the
and Howard Webb must have been tearing his fucking hair out.
Like again, the referee has the FA has now rewritten the rules for the officials that they're just essentially allowed to get away with it. They're not stuck on it. Yes, producer Mel.
Jay wants to know what's going to happen first. A game week without abysmal referees, or Everton scores a goal?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I don't even know where to go with
it. From your friend, too.
Yeah,
you know what sucks is I'm a betting man, and I ain't putting any money down on that. I don't know.
I'm an Everton supporter, and I'll put money down on the referees getting it right one week. We signed Beto. It's all going to be better. It's all going to be.
That's what West Ham said about all those strikers they signed.
All right, so final question. Is Arsenal going to...
With West Ham strikers, they had a guy that came in, was very good, right? They killed him. He had testicular cancer, didn't play for 8 months, and now he's banging goals in Germany for fun. I love it. It's so good. And you all have ruined everyone you've touched since Duncan Ferguson.
Pretty much. Timmy Cahill was okay,
It wasn't an out-and-out striker, in my opinion.
True. No, he wasn't. Do you guys make any more signings?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Arteta's happy with it. I think it's really just the we're in for Beto. Not Beto. It's similar name, but it's a Brazilian kid. In Gremio, maybe somebody like that. So that maybe somebody comes through, but I think we're going to end up loaning him out somewhere in Portugal for a year.
Right.
So I don't think there's going to be any more signings for people that actually will feature this season. But I think this experiment of the shape and the personnel is going to quickly end.
Yeah.
I think Arteta is also kind of getting annoyed by Gabriel Magalhaes because he is kind of pushing, it seems, for a move to Saudi.
Really?
And they're in for him, and it's a fuck ton of money.
Right.
And a fuck ton of money for him.
Ben White can play the middle, but you were better when Ben White played on the outside.
That now screws us for the right back position because apparently Pugmole hates Japanese people.
Yeah.
Is the only thing that can be determined by Tomiyasu's red card last week.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think as long as we make it through the window with Gabriel, he'll come back into the fold and steady the ship a bit. Defensively, I really don't think we're going to see anybody new coming in necessarily that'll feature this season.
Does Paulinho stay at Fulham? And if he doesn't, can Fulham survive without him?
I think they'll survive. I think it'll be about 6 places difference in the table without him. But Jimenez looked excellent.
Yeah.
He looked like his old self. That fucking weird bicycle kick he did with his right foot because for some reason he can't use his left was phenomenal. And that, 3 inches away from the top corner. I think they'll be okay. You know what else featured a lot this weekend? The face.
Yeah.
So Adama Traore was clean through on goal at the end. Ramsdale's face.
Yep. Oh, yeah. There was
Right,
a lot
the
of
face.
face. A lot of face. In the face.
And
In the face.
And we'll come on to Willy Bolly.
Yeah. Moving on. Moyes ball at its best. 2 weeks in a row. 0 possession. 2 3-1 wins. How's your father?
Mel, I did math. 21.4% possession equals out to 19.26 minutes of a 90-minute game.
Wow.
They scored 3 fucking goals.
They managed 12 shots with 7 of them on target and 3 goals in 19 minutes and 26 seconds.
Fucking ruthless.
That's impressive.
Isn't that good?
Holy shit.
I know. It's wild stuff. Brighton did everything right. They had 25 shots. 10 of those were on target. They just couldn't find the net. Alphonse Areola
played out of his fucking mind.
So there's multiple goalkeeping performances this weekend. Bird Leno, we didn't mention, but we should have. In that Arsenal game, he had countless saves. You had Alphonse Areola in this game. You had Allison played very well in that game. Jordan Pickford played very well, and Jose Sa both making spectacular saves.
Yep.
This was the goalkeepers' weekend, and there were a lot of fucking goals. It's kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, how did the goalkeepers play so well? But there was 25 or something goals this weekend, 30 goals this weekend. It was absolutely insane.
Real simple for...
Actually, it was a lot more than both of those numbers I just said. I think there was almost 40.
West Ham has officially signed Cunha from Ajax.
Beto. No, you're Beto.
Yeah.
Who's Cunha?
There's another Cunha.
Cunha?
Yeah, there's another Cunha they got from Ajax.
Hey, Mel,
someone that Everton was in for last year.
Involved.
Yeah. But it looks like West Ham's going to be all right.
West Ham are doing what they need to do because they know as soon as the European fixtures start, they're going to be shit again.
Yeah. Here's one final question for you. Do you think De Zerbi maybe tinkered a little too much with this lineup for this match? Because there were a lot of changes.
Possibly. I think he's going to need the rotation. I think he's trying to figure out who he can trust in Europe.
Right, of course.
And that very good start to the season allowed him to be, okay, we can drop a game now, no problem.
Right.
Brighton's in absolutely no trouble of going down or anything else.
Yeah, but also for Brighton, you got to be figuring, you start the season 2-0, you're on fucking fire. It's like, maybe we might hang around for the Champions League discussion, you know?
Yeah.
God forbid United keeps playing the way that they are, you know?
Fucking hell, yeah.
Arsenal has a few more fucking stumbles out of the gate.
Okay,
like,
we
you
don't
know?
need to bring that up.
Fucking Newcastle fucks off a completely perfect win, you know?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of those issues this weekend with teams not knowing what to do when facing 10 men.
Yeah, it's very true. Absolutely
Like
true.
Arsenal decided to kind of shut up shop, but obviously didn't because they allowed Fulham back in the game. And then Liverpool's Newcastle couldn't figure out whether to go forward or defend. They just decided to not really do anything. It was strange.
Well, what would have been really nice? Just somebody had scored a goal. Like, you know, Everton, just one, maybe. Sunday gave us 3 very interesting matches with 3 very different reasons. Manchester City 2, Sheffield 1, Aston Villa 3, Burnley 1, Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1. Blades made it fucking tough for City, man. They played them tough.
They absolutely did. I was over the fucking moon when they scored that goal, and an excellent goal it was for Sheffield United. It was a bit of a shitty game though. In the first half, it was
it was terrible,
boring. And the really only thing that happened was Erling Haaland missed a penalty. City, must have gotten a FaceTime from old Pep down in the hospital in Barcelona.
Yeah, definitely,
and got a good bollocking because they came out the second half and they were lighting it up. Good football, good chances created, good pretty much everything. And finally, Haaland does get the breakthrough from an excellent Grealish cross. I mean, with his wrong foot as well, just standing a ball up like that was phenomenal.
Jackie's starting to find his way in this City lineup. He's starting to be an everyday in the starting
you can kind
lineup.
of say that last year was a breakout quote unquote season for him in that shirt. That first season wasn't particularly great from him necessarily, but he was still trying to figure out.
He had to figure out how to go from being the star to being a guy.
Yeah. So he was a big fish in a small to medium sized pond at Villa in comparison to being a normal sized fish in the gigantuan ocean of Manchester City.
Besides, he operates better when he keeps a consistent blood alcohol level of at least 2.2%.
And wears 2 left-footed slides. That's also very important.
And drink drives.
One of which is not his own. That's also very important. That's when he's got that even right keel thing going on.
That's just medicine.
Yeah, exactly. Sam, how much?
So are you saying I'm Jack Grealish?
Drink to your health, baby.
You got the fucking pone, that's for sure.
Slanja.
I mean, you are wearing his hair.
He does have Irish roots.
All right, so Graham,
Cuban?
how much does... Yeah, I like that. How much do you see City really missing Kevin De Bruyne right now?
Huge.
It's massive, isn't it?
They simply don't create as many chances. It's very I don't want to say predictable because it's not really predictable, but did you see Lionel Messi's debut goal in MLS this weekend? Did you see that pass that Lionel Messi made?
Well, that's not his that wasn't his debut.
MLS debut.
MLS debut, yes. Okay,
because they had that Leagues Cup.
Right. Got you.
That pass is the type of shit that Kevin De Bruyne can pull off, and it bamboozled about 17 of the 22 players on the field.
Yeah, including players for his own fucking
That's
team.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Without having that sort of vision in De Bruyne, because that's what unlocks a defense, right? There were times I talked about Arsenal last season where we played too slow and never skipped a man.
Right.
Swinging stuff from side to side. And if you can't shift the defense, you can't create a hole in a defense, right? And without De Bruyne, there aren't those raking 35-yard balls. There aren't these, pieces of play that really only he can pull off.
Right.
So they're going to be a bit more simple, I guess you'd say.
Right.
Because they're simply not making the defense shift enough. They're not creating those holes.
Right.
And it happens to multiple teams all the time. But and that's why these players are so special, right? That's why Zidane was special. That's why, De Bruyne is special. That's why Ozil was special when he cared. That's why these players matter. That's why it's an art this is what makes it the beautiful game, is those sorts of passes, those sorts of balls. And without them, it's a bit more simple, a bit more easy to track.
So that being said, how fucking great is Rodri as a defensive midfielder?
I just he was given, I've never seen it. I played defensive midfield, right? Was most of my playing career of importance. Which still wasn't very important, to be honest. I didn't play at a very high level, but I did decent. But I think he took more shots in this game than I did my entire college career.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could see it, every chance was getting closer and closer and closer. Now, he was a bit fortunate that ball fell to him, and I fucking loathed that Phil Foden's going to get an assist for it, because he didn't mean to pass the ball to him. It just fucking hit him.
No.
It's a bad touch that happened to fall to his teammate.
But also look back at the Champions League when they finally won the treble. Who was it who won on the treble?
It was him.
Fucking Rodri.
But it was another fucking laser beam like this one. I mean, what a goal.
Yeah, just figures out a way to get in there and do fucking that. It's fucking great.
What's this?
She's talking to the fucking Patreon, the people
I have
watching.
fans out there.
Yeah, she's just doing
saying
her
hi.
thing. Let her do her thing.
Ignore me.
I can't. You're our producer.
It wasn't for you.
All right, kids, moving on to Villa and Burnley. How about old Matty Cash with the brace?
Well, Villa went to the club and splashed the cash.
Villa cashes in on 2 spectacular goals.
Cash was priceless on the pitch.
It was a cash grab at Turfmore.
He is Villa's bankable asset.
Cashing in on the scoreboard, Matty led Villa to victory.
Watkins and Diaby found a way to cash in on those opportunities.
They call that pass a cash converter.
Cash on delivery.
Cash tips always appreciated.
Nice to have a bit of extra cash.
Villa said, cash me outside.
How about that?
If you go to Turfmore, leave your credit card at home. Only accept cash.
Matty Cash's goal rush leaves Burnley's defense bankrupt.
The secret this week was bringing coupons for double cash back.
Matty Cash's goals paid dividends for Aston Villa.
Matty was on the money today.
Like Randy Moss said, credit? Nah, straight cash, homie.
Get rewards faster with cash points.
Matty Cash shows Burnley the real currency of the game, goals.
Matty Cash deposits 2 goals into the Aston Villa account.
They hit the jackpot with Matty Cash.
They hit the cash point twice.
They couldn't Burnley the cash.
For the English fans, Matty Cash gave Burnley a sterling pounding.
Pound for pound, Cash is worth his weight in gold.
Worth his weight in goals.
Villa has a new sponsor, by the way, Capital One. Could you get cash back on every purchase?
Emery is right to only carry cash.
It was Emery's first time spending cash, presumably because he's a vampire.
Third goal, Diaby didn't have any cash, but he picked up the check anyways. Lucadinha helped.
Burnley was castrated.
877 cash now!
Aston Villa's winning investment, Matty Cash.
Sorry, Burnley, we're not talking about you. Moving on. Liverpool and Newcastle. Giving you our best Leonard Kenny that we could.
Not too bad, ladies and gents. I am super pleased with that.
I got to tell you, and that's what I appreciate about you, producers, Mel.
Hey, pull it back there. About 10% there, Squirtless Sam.
Your producer's hot. There, I said it. All right, moving on.
Good.
Scrappy fucking start for Liverpool and Newcastle, huh?
Good. I couldn't remember where we were.
There we go. Yeah, see, I got you. And we've already talked about it, but they're Trent Alexander-Arnold. The kind of shouldn't have been a yellow card on the first one, but the second one absolutely should have been a yellow card.
But it was also a clear foul, and you could see how frustrated he was. He tosses the ball towards a Newcastle player. They just don't touch it, and it ends up rolling all the way back to Dan Burn.
Right.
But it should have been called a foul. I mean, the referee just isn't doing his job there.
Right.
And ends up giving him a yellow card for, quote-unquote, throwing the ball away. Well, the Newcastle player had every opportunity to stop it from going past him, and he didn't.
Right. And then
stupid.
But then you can't tell me that the ref wasn't influenced by the fact that he had already given him a yellow card on that grab. Because that grab, fucking yellow card. Second fucking yellow should have been off.
It's supposed to be, yeah. But, I mean, arguably, and I do believe this, Anthony Gordon went down very soft.
Oh, fuck yeah, he did. He went down very soft.
But to the letter of the law, that is a professional foul, and deserving of a yellow.
Pound also referred to as cash in the United States. But
The United Kingdom.
yeah. I'm saying pound in the UK, but known as cash in the United States, Just saying. Cash, dollar.
No.
know.
Honey, he's Polish.
Okay, I'm just trying.
So, isn't that a ruble? No. That's Russian. Ugh.
By the way, Taylor Thompson.
Avoid that. Edit that out, please.
I'm not. Taylor Thompson wanting to get in on the action.
Of course he
Aston
does.
Villa earned a lot of goals, cash.
Taylor, leave it to the professionals. Get back to your Smash Williams. You are excused. All right, let's keep it rolling.
I was trying to find a way to turn corn into cash since he lives in Kansas.
Then
Who's Can, by the way?
Virgil van Dijk sees red, and I was talking with Tupper text about this, and he was like, "Nah, not a red for me, not a red for me." Problem is, yes, Van Dijk got a piece of the ball. The problem was he went
took the leg
completely through the man to get to the ball.
It's a definite red card.
Yeah, I mean, it was definite last defender. It was definitely a red card.
But, and Isak was he was turning the corner already. He was in control of that ball. Mm-hmm. And Isak's pacey. The ball wasn't overhit. The ball wasn't he had every opportunity to get there. And the letter of the law states
It's a red.
that is a denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity.
And it is
you don't have to have your fucking foot cocked back ready to take a shot.
No.
He was clean through. There was no way any of those other defenders were going to get there. They were all behind the play, worse than Van Dijk was. And Alisson had not yet started coming off his line.
Yeah.
So there was
In all likelihood, it's a goal. In all likelihood, it's a goal.
Now, that being said, it was a genuine attempt to play the ball. Had that been about 4 feet further into the box, or 4 feet into the box, rather,
it would have been a penalty.
It would have been a penalty and a yellow
Right.
because of double jeopardy.
Right.
Because it was a genuine attempt to play the ball. However, he took the leg, he cleaned Isak out, and there's no fucking way Alexander Isak was faking or doing anything or diving or nothing. You could see it clean as day. And you know what would send a message? If you really want to stamp out dissent and get rid of these stupid yellow cards every week, give Virgil van Dijk a 5-game ban for the fucking arrogance he showed talking to the referee.
Oh, telling in
and
his
to the
face,
fourth official.
telling him to go fuck himself.
Don't fucking touch me. Go fuck yourself was what he said on multiple occasions to both the fourth official and the lead referee. It's absolute fucking garbage. And if the Premier League really wants to stamp this out, if Pugmole really wants to stamp this out, then they're going to fucking... They should ban his fucking ass for 4 or 5 games for the dissent that he showed.
Well, the problem is the Dutch, as we've well documented,
very literal people.
Literal people.
Yeah.
And also, for 7 years, he's done lots of fouling, has never seen a red, so he finally saw one. He didn't know how to handle himself.
You know what's funny is before I heard this stat, apparently it was the 6th time he was sent off in his career, but he hasn't been sent off for 7 years. He did a lot of fucking red carding in his youth career, apparently.
Now, what is worth mentioning is I did hear as he walked off the field with the fourth official, he went, "It's all fucking Pickford's fault anyways."
Get fucked, man.
But here's the thing. Second half, here's really a giant problem with Newcastle. They seemed very content to try to see out a 1-0 game. They tried to play slow. They tried to play methodical.
But they didn't pack it in at all.
They tried to waste time. You have a team that has, we'll loosely call him a defender in Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's on a yellow and escaped a red, and you have their best defender out of the fucking match. Why aren't you going at them? They seem perfectly okay to pass the ball around the back. And you know what? It bit him in the fucking ass because you don't do that kind of shit. Well, as much as I hate Klopp, you don't do that shit to a Jurgen Klopp team. He will make you pay, and he fucking made you
Absolutely.
pay.
And now there were some opportunities. Miguel Almiron should have scored 2.
Oh, the one off the post.
The one off the post, a
unlucky.
fucking phenomenal run, by the way.
Unlucky.
And at pace to compose himself, to even get it relatively close to on frame was phenomenal. 2 inches makes a difference. I know that's what you typically tell yourself every week when you lay down with your wife. The 2 inches makes a difference. I'm a real boy.
Oh, that's funny. You think I care?
That's funny. He thinks it's every week.
Then the volley, the ferocity that he hit that fucking volley with, that ball would have ripped a hole in the fucking net. Mm-hmm. And this is why you pay money for a goalkeeper, goddammit. Mm-hmm. This is why. Because you could have a Ben Foster and he's good and everything's great and he sees 150 chances a game and everything else. It is harder to stay mentally strong and switched on when you're not doing a ton. That's why Ederson. That's why Allison. That's why, David Seaman of, back in the day, or Crazy Jens could get away with what he got away with.
Neville fucking Southall. Because
they didn't have to, they were able to stay fucking focused the entire game, not seeing a chance against them, and then pull that fucking save off.
See one.
Out of nowhere.
One ball and make that save.
And it's inevitably, because the other team doesn't have the ball, because you're a better team than the other team, that is normally a very good chance for that team because it actually came to this situation, right? It had to be good enough to cut through you. And that shot was a fucking bullet. And Allison not only saved it, right? He got his paws to it, put it onto the bar, but after he landed, had the wherewithal to sit halfway up and claw it out for a corner to not have his defender in a situation for a potential own goal.
Phenomenal.
Fucking phenomenal save.
And then Darwin Nunez. Let's find out. All he apparently needed was some fucking competition to light a fire under his ass.
No shit.
God, those were two
excellent goals.
Did exactly what they bought him for, right?
Oh,
The idea was he was a less expensive version of Holland. He was going to run through to space, find opportunities, big, long, galloping giant of a man, and he'd slot it home. And he did that twice perfectly.
Well, I think it was
perfectly.
I think it was the second one. He almost controlled it too perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The ball nestled so nicely onto his foot, it almost ended up fucking behind him.
Yeah, no shit.
But he was able to recuperate, get his shit together, and the strike was just inch fucking perfect. Yeah. I mean, Nick Pope read it and still couldn't get to it. It was excellent.
I've been in this situation before, you and I, where you just knew you did everything right, and you just turn around, you look at your team, and you go, really? Like, Nick Pope had every right to look at his team and go, a 10-man side. That's what the fuck do you expect me to do?
You know what I want to see? I don't know where he's from, Darwin Nunez specifically, what country he's from. Is he Uruguayan?
Yeah, he's Uruguayan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes, he is Uruguayan. I know that. Yes.
Because what I want to, Edison Cavani used to ride horses all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I want to see? Mm-hmm. That's a man that deserves to be shirtless on the back of a horse with his hair down.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Sometimes, Graham, you say perfect things, and that's where it needs to end. That's the moment we leave it there. Chelsea 3, Luton 0, Spurs 2, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1, Palace 1, Man U 3, Forest 2, Wolverhampton 1, Everton 0. High scoring for Chelsea, but was it impressive?
I mean, not really, obviously. It was impressive that they played you could tell there was a much more coherent plan to their style of play than there was in the previous couple of weeks. They're young. There's going to be inconsistencies. There are going to be issues. But Raheem Sterling, the one big positive is Raheem Sterling looked like the Raheem Sterling of old.
What a goal.
That was a great goal. That was a great goal.
You and I were talking about this on just texting one another. Obviously, there's still, 35 more games to go. There's a whole season ahead of you. But if Sterling keeps doing what Sterling is doing right now for the consistency of 30, we are talking about a guy who's going to be in the discussion for top goal scorer. And we're talking about a guy who's going to get votes for being player of the year. Like, that simple. Like, he's really looked that impressive. I I don't remember him ever looking this impressive for Liverpool or for City. I think he's looked absolutely ridiculous.
There was a stretch for City where he was unplayable, but this is looking a lot like that now. That was the maziness of the run,
the way he sliced through the defense and
made
just
six
slotted
people
it
look
home.
like absolute fucking school children. It
just
was brilliant.
And it was again Luton's doing what they did in their first match, which is it's an FA Cup third round. We're going to put 11 behind the ball. We dare you to score on us. And he went, great, I'll dribble through 5 of you and score on you then. Now, how do you like that?
Do you remember The Land Before Time?
Yes.
That movie.
Yes.
The Ducky.
That was a little dinosaur?
Yeah,
Okay.
but she had like the multiple folds on her face. She was like kind of the sort of maybe aqua one a little bit, but also walked on land. Nicholas Jackson looks like that.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Google it because it's funny. He finally got his first goal, and I don't know what it is. Ben White's doing it for Arsenal. Nicholas Jackson's doing it. Somebody else is doing it as well in the league that I can't properly think of at the moment. But they're rolling their shorts up instead of from the top, like they're a middle school girl in gym class.
Right.
They're folding the front of their pant leg into their slides.
Yeah, you're new.
And it's weird.
Hey, Mel, you're Italian guy, the guy you all just signed, the one that's like all thighs. He should be doing that little bit, fucking folding up the shorts into his slides.
It's weird.
He likes to wear shorts in training, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, we were discussing that the other day.
I heard he got him from the team scoring and paid cash.
Yeah, well, his nickname is the Thigh Master, and they didn't buy that on credit.
All right, moving on. Forward players finally scoring for Tottenham. How about that?
Yeah, Kulusevski got a good goal. And I forgot who the other one. Oh, it was James Maddison. Yeah, who, the most deserving player in Tottenham's team for a goal, the way he's been playing the first few weeks. There was a lot of servicemen turning provider. We didn't talk about it in West Ham, but James Ward-Prowse opened his account as well.
Yep.
Who, on his debut, had, 3 assists, and then last week had another one or whatever it was,
By the way, just a reminder, Smokey thought it was a shit signing. 2 goals.
I know he did. James Ward set piece is what he said.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. You can never be happy.
No. Well, here's the thing. When he's not happy, West Ham ends up playing well. When he's optimistic, they end up almost getting relegated, but they win a European title. So that's how it works out for Smokey. That's exactly how it works out for Smokey.
A little bit of reverse psychology.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, so this was the weekend where, servicemen turned scorers.
Yeah,
Rodri, Yep, it was excellent. And his goal was very good as well, to be honest with you. And you know what?
One, you can't find your notes. You're
I
looking
didn't
for
even
them.
take notes on the Tottenham game.
All right, I can say the
I didn't
following.
even write it down. Nothing. I didn't. Oh, there it is. Spurs was lowercase, so I didn't see it.
Heard.
It was though. However, I think Postecoglou's kind of philosophy is being slowly implemented, but it is being implemented. I think this game was a bit more closely contested than Spurs would have liked it to be.
Yeah.
Burnley was,
not Burnley,
Bournemouth rather, was excellent, actually. Yeah. On the break, they created a fair few chances for themselves. Another goalkeeper that did a couple of decent saves in this game as well. But ultimately was relatively comfortable for Tottenham.
You're talking about Bournemouth, but I just want to remind you.
I keep saying Burnley.
Burnley was earlier. Burnley, the problem for Burnley this weekend,
keep saying Burnley.
Their pockets were bare. They didn't have any cash. So just how it worked out for them. Bournemouth.
Apparently, they did have some bricks.
Bournemouth, I am a little concerned about.
Bricks is drugs that hasn't been turned into cash yet. For those of you not from PG County.
There we go. Now, like I said, the Bournemouth, I'm still not fully sold on yet. They've gotten a draw, but it just doesn't feel right yet. Maybe Tyler Adams kind of puts that all together. I think he will for them, but dig yourself enough of a hole, it's going to be hard to get out of.
Well, I feel so. Look at Sheffield United's performance, and little peek behind the curtain. I have Mr. Heckingbottom getting fired
sacked first. Yeah, that's fair.
The reason is, I think Sheffield United, having recently been in the league, have more of an expectation of staying than the other two clubs.
Yeah, then Luton.
The reason I say that is Luton, obviously, this is the first time here in over 20 years,
Right.
40 years or whatever it is.
And Burnley, as long as they keep playing their style and they look
I
okay
think
doing
they'll be
it, I think
safe.
Company's perfectly safe. But I don't think there's any reason to
I
get
don't
rid of them.
think they
Even
can-
if they went right back down, I don't think you get rid of Company.
I don't think they can attract anyone better than Company is the other thing. I
Right.
think he's the best option for them currently.
He's building a program. What that program
Correct.
does this year means fuck all.
And
He's
until-
building a program.
And until Pep leaves, I don't think anybody else is going to want him.
No, exactly. I
So
tend to agree.
That's why I went with Sheffield United.
Yeah.
But this Bournemouth performance looked a bit more cohesive. It looked a bit more, I think they are going to be safe. Mm-hmm. And I think there's
Tend to agree.
enough shit teams in the Premier League, Everton included,
Yeah,
Wolves included.
yes.
I feel, actually, honestly, do feel bad saying it. But Wolves, Everton,
Yeah, we'll get to them in a second anyways.
but you're looking at some of these sides, and Luton, I think are the three probably going down.
We're going to talk about that later. Anyways, great point for Palace. Considering you're at Brentford, Brentford's really looked good, impressive for the first couple of matches. Like, that was a nice fucking point for Palace. But let's not overlook
they had chances to win the game as well.
that goal from fucking Kevin Schad.
Sade was fucking
Oh, what a rip. What
yeah.
an absolute rip.
Hey, Mel, he's out there throwing shade at Palace.
Yeah, that's his last name.
Absolutely fantastic strike.
It only works with cash.
It doesn't. That's not true. There are other puns.
Mel's dad jokes stronger than Graham's dad jokes.
Y'all had been abusing the Wang for how many months now? It was my first time spending cash.
Hey,
Mine's
hey,
been
hey.
about 3 months because my wife's pregnant and she hasn't really even looked at me. I've
We
been
only
abusing my
abuse
own
the
Wang.
Wang when the Wang is on the pitch, and the Wang was on the pitch this weekend. That is for damn sure.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He looks just like the motherfucker. Put that on the socials. Show Sam that.
No, we got to keep it going. But for Palace, like, these are exactly the games you want to go get a fucking point. Like, this is what will keep you
Oh,
up.
yeah,
This
100%.
This is what will make you comfortably safe, which is exactly what Palace needs right now.
Listen, you want a very quick... gonna need more cups if we
I gotcha. Go ahead.
have them.
Keep it going.
You want a real quick peek into injury time where we review our beers? And I did this on purpose. Okay. This is a beer. There you go, Sammy. Let's just go ahead and talk about this one now,
Okay.
real quick, if we could, because it's called Dr. Nocturnal, and the fucking lead thing on it is an owl. Roy the boy.
For Roy the boy.
Roy the boy getting his motherfucking point on the road at Brentford, how excellent that was. And so here you can see, bang, there he is.
So what is it?
It's called a Midnight IPA, which I don't think really means anything.
Doesn't mean a damn thing because there's nothing P about that I.
But it's
Not bitter. It's not bitter at all.
but it is from Yards Brewing Company, which is in Philadelphia, I believe.
very
it is.
familiar
and it
with
is
Yards.
6.66% by volume.
A little bit
obviously
of
on
shade.
purpose.
It tastes like everything else Yards puts out. Now I like Yards because they all hit my palate,
Right.
but
Well,
it's just like the tavern.
You're
It's
you're
just
a,
like the
you're an
Pugilis.
old colonial style beer kind of girl, and that's what Yards cranks out. But it
is
does taste a lot like everything else
It
I
is
do.
kind of smoky on
It's
the back
very
end. I
smoky,
like
very
that a lot.
nutty. The malt
No,
is
Sam, he's in
turned up
Arizona.
really high, and there's no there's no bitterness to it.
Yeah. Very good. And I didn't even care what it could have been fucking piss water. Seeing that owl on the can and Roy the boy's performance here in this game,
Yeah.
as I'm buying this no matter what. Doesn't matter what it is. Boomtown.
Speaking of an unimpressive performance, Man U, yeah, they got the win, but you're still going, really?
Man, there's no way. I'm very surprised this game didn't make it into that second segment or the first segment.
It just the way everything was working out. I wanted to be. I didn't want the first segment to have one of those three unimpressive games be a winner.
Okay.
You know?
Fair enough.
And frankly, if there's ever an opportunity to not really give Manchester United a lot of talking points, let's just not do it.
Yeah, I mean, they were shit to start, obviously. One of their corners ended up in an Owen goal, which was phenomenal. You
Great
can
job
tell
by him.
how little Marcus Rashford has ever had to defend his entire life, because he tracked him the entire way, and then when he kind of steadied himself to shoot, Rashford was like, "Oh, do I stop two now?"
I'll tell you what, Awoniyi's
He had every opportunity to make a tackle and
because
didn't.
there's now Spurs are apparently in for Brennan Johnson. And frankly,
They don't need him.
Forest don't need him. They don't need him.
No.
No, they don't.
I'd say that Spurs don't need him.
I think Spurs just want to buy a guy to take him away from somebody else. But also for Forest, if it's a chance to make some money.
Spurs doesn't do that shit.
But for
That's a
Forest,
Chelsea move.
Okay, but for Forest, if there's an opportunity to make money off of a young, talented star, and you don't necessarily need him, and you're not going to be able to find a real place for him on the team, because he's not an out-and-out winger. He's more of a play in a two type striker. And let's face it,
Brennan Johnson?
Yeah,
He could also play a 10.
Yeah, but
you have James Madison now.
well, I'm just saying for Forest, I don't think they need him. I don't think, as long as Awoniyi's healthy. I mean, obviously.
Well, yeah, knock on wood. That's the big thing.
But he was healthy all of last year, and he's finding goals. I think Awoniyi's a 15-goal scorer.
When
this
your
season.
name is Al-Mani, you have to worry.
Yeah, Al-Mani, very good.
I mean,
Like
this
that.
show is so punny.
Yeah, so punny.
If you haven't fucking figured it out yet, get on board.
Let's go
Bunny
ahead.
Mel. Bunny!
Let's go ahead and talk about it. Everton.
Talk about what?
Everton.
Is
Dog shit.
giving up already?
They do it.
Seems like it.
They do it again, just like they did with Fulham at home. Dominate the game for the most part. Yes, Pickford had to make one big save, but for the most part, it was all fucking Everton, just like the Fulham match. And what happened? Late fucking goal, and Everton find themselves with no points.
Correct.
You want to talk about the game of inches? God forbid they don't get scored on in either one of those matches, right? And they end up with draws. Yeah, they're at 0-2 and 1, but with 2 points, you're like, it's dice ball. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah, they need to get some goals. But the way they lose both of those, first to Fulham, on Fulham's first shot on target, and then against Wolves, the substitute brought in to essentially just stay up top and bring down long balls, right? That's why they brought him in. It was very clear. You could tell Gary O'Neill was going for the point. And Everton fall asleep for 1 second. Boom, goal, 1-0.
But
over.
a couple
Done.
phenomenal saves from Pickford again. Mm-hmm. And Braithwaite looks like a fucking G.
Thank God. Now, he's young. He's going to make mistakes. He's not... I know Everton fans love to overreact and assume that he's going to be the next coming of Christ and that everything is going to be fucking saved. But
It says a lot about your club. You think that of a defender.
that's how we fucking are, man.
Especially since Arsenal have Jesus up front.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you have 3 fucking Jesuses on your team, don't you?
We have 3 Gabriels.
Okay, 3 Gabriels.
One of them happens to be Jesus.
Yes, very good.
So we got 1 Jesus and 2 archangels.
Yeah. So
I mean,
Wouldn't expect you to know
not
that.
as good as 2 pair, but
Oh, for fuck's sake.
but
Get out. Just get out.
for Everton, and it's like, what can go wrong possibly goes wrong. You know, Decore puts one in the net, barely
Marginal offside.
barely
At
offsides.
best, marginal.
Again, as good as the save that Pickford made, which was actually a deflected ball by his own player, that save by Sa, and it's not even, and I'll give credit to Mr. Ryan Williams on this one, it's not just the fact that he somehow managed, as he's diving one way, to get his hand up to get the ball, that he was able to get his hand to move enough to parry the ball over top of the net.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would have normally happened with most keepers, that would have hit the dead of your hand and fallen right in the fucking center of the goal and been touched right in for a goal. He somehow managed to then do the spin with the fingers, get the ball to just go over the fucking post.
So you know how professional athletes are always made to stay in a hotel the night before a game? Mm-hmm. They do that because they say that it takes about 48 hours to recover your core strength after you come. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do this for everyone except goalkeepers. Wank away, you need some strong forearms. And he obviously had the forearm strength. But you know what? Somebody get this guy a stress ball. It was fantastic.
Okay, well, that tells you why I was such a good goalie.
Timmy O is watching. He says,
good.
Cash in on all the puns, and you can betto the goals will come.
That a boy.
Who's that?
Timmy O.
In Upside Down Land?
Yeah, he's in Upside Down Land.
Good
It's
morning.
in the morning.
It's
Good
tomorrow.
morning, eh? No, that's Canadian.
No, A is Canadian. Yeah, you're having a little trouble
Shit.
there. You're mixing up your lettered Kenny with your Landowner.
I don't know what to do.
You know, you're having little troubles there. No,
Hey, don't die today. There's a lot of animals there that could do that.
Here's something. First and foremost, for Wolves, you did exactly what you needed to do. Smash and grab. You got 3 points. You're not in the bottom anymore. That's what you needed, especially the way that the second game went for you, where you really got worked by Brighton. You got what you needed. Now for Everton, the sad part is, look at all the stats, like goals created, progressive passes, all that shit, right? You look at the last 2 years, everything was basically under Lampard and under Dyche was 17th place or lower in all creative categories. This season, everything's in the top 10. Problem is, if you don't score a fucking goal, you can't win a fucking game, right?
Hey, but when Calvert-Lewin's cheek is better, you'll be just fine.
It's Beto now. We're putting it all in on Beto.
It's better now.
We're betting on
it's
Beto.
Beto now. That's what he says. It's Beto now.
I will say I did pour
That's
myself.
the saddest of the puns.
I poured myself a little bit of extra here by
You're
accident.
going to finish the bottle anyways, sooner than later.
You can't. It's allocated now.
It's got my name written all over it. Well, good thing we already have a backup bottle for the rest of this season.
For y'all. We don't lose that much.
Yeah.
I took 2 shots last year.
You'll bottle it soon enough. It's okay. And I just want to say what I have currently right here.
Stop. I can't.
And I think it's fitting that we use this shot glass today because it's the Newcastle shot glass. And I think any Newcastle supporter would also say that they kind of deserve the old Malort this week too.
Oh, they fucking bottled it.
Because that second half performance was like Malort. Like bitter and then like a bile taste left in your throat after it was over.
After Darwin Nunez came in it.
Up the fucking Tofefes, and I will tell you the following. What you will not see me fucking do is write my team in the bottom in the relegation because my team's going to fucking survive. Your team was 0-2 a couple of seasons ago. So fuck all of you. Keep the jokes coming, dicks.
Yeah, we will.
Did you see the elevator one?
No problem. I didn't.
Oh, they're in an elevator, and he goes, the guy goes, "Hey, what's Everton going to do this season?" And the elevator goes, Going down.
I did see that, actually. You're right. Yeah. Brilliant.
You guys
brilliant.
suck.
Sure money.
Man, I got fucking Arsenal, and that's what my loser ticket says today to the...
Come, join the club, the Dort Spirek Cup of Losers.
I'm joining the club, but I'm still up. Thank you very much. $214 because I only lost $100. So I will come back to my bet as usual, and let's hear what you got going on, Mr. Houston.
All right, so mine says seriously couldn't score one more.
He was
City
complaining
win
about that all
check.
day.
Holland, check. Over 3.5 goals, nope. And I'm down $200.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
You know what? 100% of the time, Mel is late on that fucking sound cue.
And you know
all
what?
the time.
And you know what? 13.2% of the time, Holland misses a penalty, and you would have hit your bet had he not carooned it off the post.
Just fucking kills me. But that's okay. Big Sam's Lock of the Week is going to get me straight. I'm going back to the City well. But this time...
Careful. I've heard there's fucking rats in it.
Bring some chlorine.
And fluoride.
Very easy. I'm not even fucking with the whole game. First 10 minutes, City to be up after the first 10 minutes, plus 320.
Shit. That's one
Fulham.
we've never had on the betting segment.
When
The
you lose as
result
much as I
after-
do, you got to start fucking looking around for them odds because you still need to play a favorite.
It's only
like-
week 3.
I like a result after 10-minute bet. That's good. That's not bad.
No.
That's
And
like
City versus Fulham, that
So-
feels like a goal is going to happen quickly for me.
every time Cameron woke us up early and a women's game was still on, during the World Cup, I would stand there and bet penalties for $1. Next
bet
penalty
$1.
dollar. Next penalty dollar. Miss or make or whatever. I ended up actually profiting $14.62.
Actually, that's some action I would enjoy.
Oh, that's
Not
some
too
action you
shabby.
definitely would
I love me
enjoy.
some penalties, and I'm pretty good at calling them too.
It's good.
The USA Sweden game, I got up early, watched the match. I definitely made sure Mrs. Houston was awake. I come in, I just hit her. I just barely tap her. I'm like, hey, Mel.
Did you? That's an escalation from what the Spanish FA president did. Wow.
Tapped her on her. I just tapped her on her butt like I normally do. And I just went, hey, honey, penalties. She's like, I'm up. Like, yeah, I'm there.
There.
Just gets up, walks right out into the living room. She's like, yeah.
fucking kiss me. Let's get it on. Yeah.
All right.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Somebody's coaching baseball.
Shame Pat can't be here this evening because he's busy doing American cricket. So I've got his email, and here's what he says. Well, last week didn't go great considering my parlay was dead after the first 5 minutes of match 1. Now, I'm down $235, so this week, instead of taking favorites, I'm going to pick the matchup of the week. When two of the worst teams are matched whatever, to take
Excellent
the
cold reader.
pitch. I'm just reading what he wrote, and it's not words. Thank you.
Yeah.
When two of the worst teams are matched up to take the pitch, that's right. Everton takes on Sheffield United. Oh, I thought he was talking about last weekend again when Everton played Wolves. And this game is going to be
There's going to be a consistent thread. It's called Everton.
scorcher, he says. A fucking scorcher. A barn burner, if you will. If you like 0-0 scores,
Safe bet.
so I'm going to take $100 on the draw at plus 220 and 150 on the under at minus 250 because I think no one will continue to score for these two teams. You guys have a great week, and I'll be talking to you next Monday.
Lovely.
So he's betting a total of $250, which is more than he is currently down, and that could potentially be over Dublin,
Well, I just like the fact that
like Ryanair.
I like that he's going to go into his full degenerate gambler right at the start of the season.
So
he's
are
like,
you.
I'm down. I'm over betting.
So are you.
I'm just betting $100. He likes to bet.
It's not even Labor Day weekend, and you're both panicking.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going for some sensible shit. I lost this past week, but I won the week before, so I'm still up $214. I have
Nothing
taken
but favorites, by the way, so far.
I have taken a 3-game parlay. I've got West Ham over Luton, shoe in.
Yeah.
City over Fulham. As long as Paulina's in Saudi, we'll be fine there. And then Brentford over Bournemouth. Excuse me, for $100, which will pay me out $241.
Very good. Very good. Well,
Not too shabby.
you know who's consistent with the money?
Who's that?
The fucking chicken.
I thought it was going to say Matty Cash.
Tim Olson says, that's a bass, Beto. I hope I gave that reading justice. Even Kitty didn't expect Nunez to score a brace off the bench and missed her bet, and she sits at 1-1. So this week, I gave her West Ham traveling to Luton Town
Okay.
for their first Premier League game at Kenilworth Road. Now, Kitty quickly showed me a YouTube video of John Cleese and a fish called Wanda.
Okay.
And, well, wouldn't you know it? A kitty was in the trailer, dude.
Yeah.
Apparently, this was really early in Kitty's acting career.
World-renowned actress, Kitty the Chicken.
I mean, from way back. I mean, this was, what, 80s?
Yeah. I mean, Kitty's been around for a minute. She's old. She's an old soul.
And so, apparently, she was breaking in as an extra, and her and John became very close friends.
Okay.
And I know that Kitty knows that John is a huge Iron supporter. And so clearly, that was a very long road to say she is picking West Ham to beat Luton.
You know, it's not, the ghostwriter doesn't just write down the thoughts of Kitty. The ghostwriter also writes down thoughts to make it tough on somebody to read it.
I you know what? I right now am the best cold reader on this show.
Well, how about that?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I just did a damn good job reading Pat's email.
Did you know?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, because I can read the English language. He sent me something that wasn't the English language. Gamble legally and responsibly.
All right.
I got nothing. Like, there's no sound cue to hit.
We've established that there's no sound
would
cue.
Be better with less F words.
No, it wouldn't be. It's perfectly fine with the F words.
Also, too fucking bad. We got some cuts.
And I was already transitioning, and she's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, for once, when she doesn't need to hit a button, she's like, must hit buttons, all of them. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I did that whole reverb thing purposely. That's for you to fuck with in post.
Didn't bring to the game not just the basics of football, I believe the basics of life.
Yeah, that would be Everton. Heard. All right, Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Cheese is cheese and bread is bread.
No, it's
Like
bread.
we say in Portugal, bread is bread and cheese is cheese.
You know it is.
Backwards.
It
I
absolutely
apologize.
is.
Anyway, all right, yeah. So, this is a tough one.
Who do we start with?
We're gonna start with a heartfelt one.
Okay.
First, not a cunt, just part of my closing words.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, Bob Barker died. Massive part of my childhood.
Price is wrong, Bob.
That was the
Price
best.
is wrong, bitch, is what he said.
Okay, heard.
Actually, I think. But it got me a little bit. I don't normally mourn celebrity deaths, but this was me and my grandfather's knee every summer. You know, in the summer break when we used to watch, me and my brother. We watch The Price is Right every goddamn day, and every sick day at work, it was awesome. Yeah, it was just amazing watching him and watching that show. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. And it made me think of my granddad, of course, which makes me sad. And then I saw a meme, and that's when I started to cry a little.
Was it the one I sent you?
That he was 99, essentially 0.7 years old.
Yeah, the closest to 100
The
without
closest
going
to
over.
100 he could get without going over.
God, that's beautiful.
You're like, God damn you, Bob! You fucker!
Also,
You know he was giggling the whole way to heaven.
also beat my grandfather, who was 96. So my grandfather wouldn't have been in the showcase anymore. Motherfucker. So that was very sad.
I like the
Bob
meme.
beat out your grandpa in the showcase showdown for God.
There's a meme of dogs with their testicles intact running away, and like just Bob Barker with a pair of scissors in the corner.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Spay and neuter your pets, everyone.
100%. So that was sad. So now let's get on to the absolute fucking twat waffle. That is Luis Rubiales, the president of the Spanish FA.
And his mom.
Who, I'm sure she's old as dirt and doesn't know really what's going on.
Hey, everybody. Thoughts and prayers. She's on a hunger strike now in a church, okay?
Until we stop bullying her son.
You know, because clearly he's dealt with bullying his whole life.
I'm sure she has no idea what's happening and is just defending her son. I'm sure she has no fucking clue what's going on. That because when Spain lifted the World Cup trophy for our lady friends, Mr. Rubiales got a... Oh, fuck! That was not consensual, Connor.
Hey, I'm going to call Russ.
But I will forget that you forgot to grab your dick first.
You
Because that's what he did right when the final whistle happened, was stand up and give it the old fucking Michael Jackson. And then
I mean, dude, you didn't win the Golden Glove. Simmer down.
Then he didn't even play, Mel, which is a shame. Also, didn't pick the team.
So what
Forcibly
did
kissed,
he do?
Forcibly kissed on the lips. This wasn't for everybody that hasn't really seen anything. Just to set the scene,
I don't know how that's possible.
This wasn't the European kind of. This wasn't that thing.
This was
he
grabbed
kissed this
by the
woman
face.
on her lips while grabbing her face, and she did not consent. Has come out as saying that it was not consensual. It was inappropriate to the 10th degree, easily. Now his mother is on a hunger strike, locked herself inside of a church because she doesn't understand why everybody's mad at her son and vilifying her son.
People are threatening to sue her for.
And he came out and said a lot of kind of nefarious things during a press conference recently, where he paraded 7, I think it was, women that worked at the Spanish FA that support him to sit in the front row of this press conference and show how he, isn't. I'll say something. If FIFA has to get involved in a sexism case,
right? FIFA, the most honest business there is in the world.
One time, a
they don't
former
know corruption
president
at
said
all.
that if women's football wants to be better, like make more money, they should wear tighter uniforms.
Right, show off them curves, right? Because that's what we want to look at, right?
FIFA.
Yeah.
Well, he's not wrong. What they should do is, if FIFA needs to investigate you, you should just automatically resign.
Yeah.
Just
One of the most corrupt organizations on the face of the planet.
be like, that's wrong.
And he hasn't yet.
Christian thinks those women resigned after that press conference.
That I have not seen. What I have seen,
And he's very concerned that there's somebody over my shoulder.
what I have seen, I'm the only one that's been fucking assaulted today.
Yeah.
I didn't see a thing.
Graham,
Okay,
you,
Rubiales Jr.
hey, Graham, you weren't assaulted. You wanted that kiss.
You wanted
that was
it.
a loving
We all
embrace between
know it.
two men that you wanted. I was celebrating a good show, and you were happy
Now,
about it
if
too.
somehow the lawsuit
you put your
favors
arms
me-
around me and lifted me up there, Sam. I have video evidence.
I saw that. I've got video evidence that says lots of stuff, depending upon how you want me to edit it.
What I did see, is the silver lining to this entire thing is 80 players and staff have decided to not represent Spain until that dickhead is removed from his position.
Yeah.
That includes, I think the number was 9, but I'm not positive, men. And men's players.
Yeah.
And just tying back
And
in.
Seville came out wearing the shirts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just tying back into Mason Greenwood for a second, because in a different way, obviously just as bad.
yeah.
But if not worse, in a different
Yeah.
way. But just tying into that, the men in this boys' club need to be able to police themselves. We
Yup.
shouldn't need 72 women to decide to never represent their country again until this guy's gone.
This should not weigh all on Jenny's shoulders either. And it's fucking bullshit that this is what the World Cup is being remembered for. It's fucking bullshit that this is what everyone's talking about.
And it's the first time the Spanish women have won this competition. This isn't like a normal occurrence.
I don't
This
want
should
to
be an amazing fucking.
I don't want to go
thing.
deep into it because we will talk for 20 minutes about this, but let us not forget that this, for the president of their federation, this was his big vindication because he kept a coach on that players of the team refused to play for. So 15 players decided they weren't going to play anymore. And you said, what is it, damn near close to 80?
That
What
coach is the
was
only
the
guy
number you
employed
said of
right now.
players that are not going to play for the...
That included the men,
Yeah,
though.
the entire staff has quit.
Well, that didn't stop him the first time. And the sad part is for that coach, he's vindicated in the fact that he won a fucking World Cup.
No,
I mean, he's
they
a
won
piece
the
of
World
shit.
Cup.
But then, like,
from what I understand, they just didn't like him,
right?
Which is fine, whatever. Okay, that's
fair.
I think it was like a footballing thing. I don't think it was a sexism thing. I might have that wrong, but I haven't seen those reports.
Doesn't matter.
But the president of the FA is a different story.
We want to focus on
Obviously,
Rebellious.
yeah.
And for him, you look at this situation, and this should be about the players on the field. I'm not even saying the ladies. The players on the field, the countrymen that won their club, their country, their second World Cup, their first one in the Women's World Cup. In a group where with the Women's World Cup, there ain't a lot of first-time winners. It's a very strong club, pretty much dominated by the U.S. and Germany. And
Japan, yeah. And they had a tough old run to the final as well.
They got through a lot of really fucking good teams to get there, and they deserved it because they manhandled England. Like, I was rooting for England the entire way. I really wanted England to fucking win. They dominated England in that final.
Listen,
and all we're focused on is an asshole grabbing a girl by her face and fucking kissing her.
Do you know who knew that Spain was going to win? Stephen Walsh.
Oh, yeah?
Stephen Walsh trivia.
You said that this man manhandled this woman, and I believe that's false feminism.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes, false feminism, the scourge.
Scourge. Scourge.
I'm just
say scourge.
I'm tired of suffering.
Yeah.
I know y'all had it really tough from 2004 to 2021.
So
what was it?
I'm starting a club
Really tough
called
time
the
for white ladies.
There is.
It's a doo-wop group.
There's always this kind of constant fight in the world
Venmo,
of
PayPal,
of
cash.
who's bitching too much, who has a point, and then all of that aside, then you have this asshole who just goes, it's okay. I'm in my rights to do this.
But
shit.
then just says, look at the video. Just says, look at the video. Like, he just denial of reality.
Right.
I mean, this goes back to everything from the last fucking
Here's the other
5
point,
years
y'all.
with Donald Trump.
That guy
It's just
is
denial
a
of
fucking
reality.
dime a dozen. Every woman can think of a guy like that she has had an interaction with. I was married when it happened to me at a party.
Yeah, dude grabbed my wife and kissed her.
Sam?
There was a dude that grabbed my wife and fucking kissed her.
Yeah, we were talking and having a good time, and he thought it was just okay to. And then there was that's not even the first time. It's actually happened more than I'd like to admit.
Yeah,
Dudes just feel like they're entitled to know she was asking for it. I'm like, no, I was having a fucking conversation. No, I was playing a soccer game. No, I just won the World Cup. No,
Get it the fuck together, Sam.
Rebellious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's put a brick on this.
Yeah.
You know what she needs?
What?
A good digging.
A hug and a kiss.
Oh, that too.
Thank you so much for joining us. Next up is
No, the other Burnley cunts. And there we go. We're good. Now, bye.
Oh, yeah. Burnley threw a brick at Aston Villa. See ya.
Yeah.
I never got hurt.
Have a good night.
Don't do that.
Thanks for joining us. Next up is going to be Injury Time, where we talk about the beers we were drinking, -1. We check in on our adopted club, where shit is just not going well at all. Somebody step down. It is not going well.
Somebody wants some money on that thrashing.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. And we go ahead and preview the weekend's matches, and we talk about fantasy, where somebody at the top lost by a point. Whew, what a humdinger.
Yeah.
And should somebody want to find
Certainly
Injury
did.
Time, how do they go about doing that, Mr. Graham?
It's very easy. Patreon.com/DUFootball Show. Just sign up today. One beautiful, glorious $5 tier, and I'll give you a motherfucking kiss if you do.
Consensually. Be sure to check out the DU Drip Shack as
Or
well
not.
if you'd like to support the show in other ways. We've got lots of fun stuff, pint glasses, shirts, all kinds of cool shit to check out. And until next week, everybody,
don't be a cunt.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!